appreciate everybody joining us here today on the Chiropractic podcast. My name is Dr. Lisa Biggley. I practice in Seymour, Tennessee. I have the honor of being here today with Dr. Justin Forde. He has a very thriving, successful practice with his wife, Dr. Candy Forde, in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Ooh, way down yonder.
And as we talk today, you guys are just going to absolutely love his accent. It makes me smile every time I
talk nice
to
and
him.
slow for everybody, so you can hit that 1.5 if you want to.
Fair enough, Dr. Justin. Today we're going to have a conversation on why you may have a poor conversion rate and how to fix that. What do we mean by a poor conversion rate? New patients particularly, coming into your office and not staying with you past 2, 3, 4, 5 visits, not having that long-term wellness practice. So we're just going to run through some very common situations or common problems that affect our conversion rate. And Dr. Justin, we spoke a few minutes before we started this podcast here on first impressions. And do you want to talk a little bit about how to make a good first impression, or what you have found being a mentor yourself that gives patients a bad first impression?
Oh, well, I think one of the biggest things to remember, too, is that a patient is walking in with just as much innate as what you and I have. They feel the vibe of your office. They pulled in the parking lot. If there's trash in the parking lot, if the building looks run down, if your staff doesn't greet them with a smile, they're picking up on all sorts of things that you never ever get to do again. You don't have a second chance to make a good first impression. And so the devil's in the details, and they all have to point to the fact that you and your care is of utmost value.
I agree with you. It just takes a little bit of time to weed your flower bed or clean your carpet in your office. Stuff like that speaks to every individual that walks through our doors, but when we're doing it on a daily basis, it's really easy sometimes to miss that spider web in the corner.
Right.
Or you don't think the carpet's all that dirty, but we're not looking at it with new patient eyes.
Mm-hmm.
One step before that also, Dr. Justin, first impression truly starts with the voice on the phone.
Absolutely.
I personally don't have a lot of new patients that just walk into my office. Most of them make an appointment first. So we have to consider things like who's answering our phone.
Right.
Do they have a phone voice?
Mm-hmm.
Is it pleasing? Are they saying what needs to be said? Is there a system for that? If somebody else in our office runs up and answers the phone because maybe the front desk person is busy, are they saying the same things?
Right.
So what that really comes around to for me is having solid systems in our office that everybody is aware of and trained on. How have systems helped you?
Well, I owe all of our success to AMC and the systems that Dr. Owen came up with, because it provides a consistency. Every patient, we strive to give the same experience, which is 110% of the best that we can give them. And those systems are there to create that consistency from one chiropractic assistant to the next. They're all trained under the same system. Every patient should get the same experience.
100% agree with you. And having a system, not just for the administrative side of your office, but also the clinical side of your office, really does take the stress away. You're prepared, you know what's going to happen, and there's nothing that's going to catch you off guard that you don't know how to handle. And that's a lot more comforting and stress-free than just shooting from the hip every single day.
On every single patient, absolutely.
Another first impression is the first impression of the doctor themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Are you professional looking? Are you professional acting, or are you there in shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops?
Right.
Which one speaks value?
Mm-hmm.
So first impressions of the outside, the staff, the phone call, doctor themselves, decorations, it all has to be taken into account, because a patient may be walking in saying, this place is a mess. They may like the doctor, but then say, why would I pay for anything here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because you didn't create that value. You didn't take the time to put all of those systems in place to show them that this care is going to be worth it. It's the same thing as if you walk into a restaurant and take a look at the menu and the steak on there is $100, but the waitress is in cut-off jeans and a ball cap. Something's not congruent here, and it's the same thing in your practice.
I love that analogy. Never heard that before, but if we create that consistent experience to the value of care, you know what? You're a lot more likely to get referrals also, because they can tell that person that they're going to refer exactly what to expect.
Right.
And you don't disappoint.
Absolutely.
Another reason we had talked about conversion rate may be poor or conversion rate is low is that the patient doesn't feel like we understood their condition, they didn't feel heard, or quite possibly that we did not take them serious.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
So one of the goals in the consult is to help the patient know that we understand them. Because how many other doctors has a patient been to and their primary complaint is they just didn't even listen to what I was saying. I was trying to convey what my problem was, and it's like I was never even heard. They didn't understand me. And our goal is to help them know we do understand. We have listened. We're usually the first people that touch the area of complaint. They've been to other doctors, and doctors never actually gone, is this what you're talking about? And we're the first people that do that. And then seriousness. A patient will never take their condition more seriously than you do as the doctor. And I hope that sinks in for a second, because if we set the bar way up here, they're naturally going to gravitate towards where we set it. If we constantly keep lowering it and belittling their condition, well, they're going to come right back down to where our level is.
You know, I'm going to back up just a second, but then I'm going to come back to that seriousness there with you, Dr. Justin. We have to get the patient to like us, and they have to feel like they were heard and we understand. One way that I find to get the patient to like us starts in the beginning with the greeting, of course, but active listening will take you so far in connecting with that patient, making eye contact, not interrupting, and just taking in what they're saying and taking notes. They know they're being heard. But then there's value when you can restate to them what they've told you.
Right.
You're already solidifying that relationship that they've been heard. When it comes to seriousness, I know I've said this before, as chiropractors, we can get into a rut. I've been guilty of it many times. This is just another tension headache. This is just another low back pain.
That's fair.
But what we forget is they don't come into us on average for 2 years. They think about going to a chiropractor 2 years before they walk through our doors.
Right.
And if they have thought about it for 2 years and they walk through that door, it's a big deal to them.
Yes.
And a lot of times we'll ask really, we call it the need behind the need. Why are you really here? What is this keeping you from? What if you had to stop doing because of this? Sometimes you'll get a great answer. Other times you'll get answers like, I'm a mom, I just push through it. But the really cool thing about it, it's somewhere down the road, they will finally tell us the true need behind the need. you know what, this was keeping me from wanting to go out and socialize. I was afraid I was going to fall when I would get up to walk. We may not get it in the beginning, but it's always important to ask. So if we don't take it seriously, who will?
Right.
Because it's serious to them. I think we have to remember it's serious to them.
For sure.
So,
and we should treat it with the same level of seriousness.
And it's not what we're doing to them. It's what we're doing for them.
Absolutely.
And it may be years down the road before they realize that and we see it.
Mm-hmm.
So if a patient has a very serious condition, we have to be willing to state the facts. We have to say what needs to be said and not minimize their condition. I don't believe in scare tactics, but I believe in telling them the future of this condition if nothing is done to stop it. So if we minimize things like this is a little bit of degeneration or this curve is a little bit to the side, and then we create a care plan for them, what are the odds of them accepting the best recommendations, which we know has a higher dollar amount to it,
Right.
if we have minimized with our words?
For sure. It's pretty low. Slim chance there. Because you've done nothing but whittle away at how seriously they're taking their problem, and then you present your best of the best. It's just incongruent, and their innate picks up on that. It's like, well, you said this, but now you're saying this. It's like I'm getting two different tales here.
Another reason why conversion ratios may be poor is the lack of authenticity from the doctor themselves all the way through the office and the staff. In today's social media times, it's so easy to have a false facade.
Mm-hmm.
So as the doctor, make sure you're walking the walk and talking the talk. Make sure you're not incongruent with your actions and what you're trying to convey.
For sure.
Authenticity. What's a way that you've increased authenticity in your office?
So I can tell you, I just implemented this. Even though I've known about it, I was resistant to it. Handwriting the packet that we give the patient on their second report. When we present them with a care schedule and care recommendation, actually taking the time to write out by hand all of their problems, what caused them, what we found as chiropractors. Because I used to just say, well, A, my typing is a whole lot clearer and more legible than my handwriting, and then B, it goes way faster. But in the world that we're living in, like you said, AI is taking over so many things nowadays that when somebody sees that you took time to handwrite it, that's authentic. It came from you. My printer doesn't print out my handwriting, out from a word processor. And when you show them all these things that you have talked about, I've had patients say, man, did you have like a tape recorder on when we were talking the other day? Because you nailed every single thing. How'd you remember all that? But it's authentic. It's real. It shows that I have taken a serious interest in you, in your health, and where your health is headed.
I love that. I absolutely agree. I'm also a big supporter of handwritten thank you notes.
Yes.
Handwritten notes of appreciation, birthday cards, none of the stamped kind of thing. Just take the time and do that. Dr. Justin, I'm gonna jump here a little bit. We didn't actually talk about this ahead of time, but we're talking right now conversion ratio of a new patient becoming a patient.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if your conversion ratio is poor going from a crisis type care plan into a wellness care plan? Say after they've been with you for 6 months or they've been with you for a year. If you lose them at that point, Can you think of a few things that you've probably messed up on that you can go back and fix?
I can tell you a few things that we didn't do that should have been done.
Okay.
One of the biggest is you never fail by going back to the original problem and reminding them of where they are, because we as human beings get amnesia very easily. I mean,
Yes, we do.
I don't remember what I did yesterday type of thing. So for when you get that patient doing so much better and they're back to doing all the need behind the needs that they had, they forget how bad it used to be. I mean, when a patient comes in, they forgot what normal is supposed to feel like. So by taking them back to that, you reintroduce the importance of not only investing in their health and how far they've come, but why it's also important to never ever go back in that direction.
Agree. Always take them back to and review the original complaint and what they weren't able to do that they are now able to do. But I think a lot of times we can drop the ball in not educating our patients all along the way of why chiropractic is a lifestyle, not just an event.
Right.
If they have been in our office for a year and they don't understand that what has gotten them feeling better is going to keep them feeling better, that's on us.
Absolutely.
We have missed it.
Yeah, because we decided to talk about the baseball game or the
Absolutely.
the kids and whatnot, and didn't keep the focus on chiropractic and its importance.
You know, my dentist, we joke about this all the time. One of the things I'll say is, if you go to the dentist and you have 0 cavities, you've had an amazing checkup. Does your dentist say, okay, you can stop brushing now, come in when you have your next cavity? That would be crazy.
Crazy.
They have done such a good job in that profession of talking about maintenance and wellness care of your teeth. As a chiropractic profession, we need to get better at that. We need to be talking more about spinal hygiene and why it's important. And a lot of times when we lose the patients after they're out of pain, that's on us for not taking the time to educate. And within Aligned, when you have this system in place, this system is not just for the beginning part of care. This system is for a lifetime of care. There's things to help us educate our patients from visit 1 to visit 101 and beyond. So the system plays in many, many different areas.
And I totally agree. That's why I love Align, is because from the moment that they decide to go through with an exam, even in the consult, we're slowly shifting the patient's concept of it being a pain-oriented problem to a health-oriented problem. Because if you're still stuck on the pain model, well, as soon as the pain's gone, why am I here? But if you can convert them over to realizing that it's more about the overall 100% function of your entire body, well, then, yeah, I want to keep all of my systems running at a high level.
Just in talking here, Dr. Justin, on how to improve poor conversion rates or poor acceptance of care, is there anything else that we've talked about this afternoon that you would like to add to, or maybe even anything we haven't covered?
I would say the biggest thing, and this is paramount, especially when you're taking care of a child, a younger patient who's still with their parents, is you have to get both parents on board. If both parents are in the child's life, they've both got to know the seriousness of their condition, just like you would if it was a single person coming in, not married, doesn't have ties to anybody, but carrying that same sort of seriousness to both parties so that both parties understand, again, this is a health condition. It's not just a pain problem. Their body is not functioning like it should be. And if you can do that thank God for technology through a FaceTime call. Maybe dad is deployed overseas somewhere, or maybe this one works here and this one works here and their schedules, or maybe they're in a divorce. You can't always see these things coming. But if you can get both parents involved, I promise you that your conversion rate is going to get better and better and better.
I really like that you brought that up, because if I'm not mistaken, is it a Navy base?
We're in
that you ride
between
by?
an Air Force base and the Navy CB base.
So I can see where you may have to deal with quite a bit of that, a parent being
Absolutely.
gone or deployed or their job, and that's a great point. You always want to have that cheerleader, spouse, husband, wife, grandparents, if they're taking care of the kids, to see the value and why they're bringing them.
You want an advocate at home, not an adversary.
I like that. Well, Dr. Justin, thank you for being here today on the Aligned podcast.
It's been a pleasure.
And if you would like to know more about Aligned, feel free to give us a call or visit our website. Thank you.